Found out my therapist is married to my old boss, and she's exposing my darkest secrets to my coworkers. I started seeing a therapist a couple of months ago. Nothing major, just dealing with seasonal blues and some general life stress. It was really helping, until recently. Out of nowhere, two former coworkers called me to say my old boss was talking about me, saying things like, "My name basically hates herself now. I heard she's not doing well, really depressed." These were phone calls, so I have no recordings, just pure shock. For context, my old boss fired me back in 2017. We never got along, but there was no misconduct, just general underperformance. It wasn't a great exit, but I moved on. At first, I thought maybe a mutual friend had shared something, but then I did some digging and found out my therapist is married to my former boss. Yep, never put the connection together because their last name is super common. Obviously, this is a huge problem, but since my therapist operates solo, no big practice or HR department, I have no idea who to report this to. Then there's my old boss. Is what she's doing even crossing legal lines, or is it just really unprofessional? I still work in the same small, close-knit industry, so I don't want this to spread, but I also don't want to start drama that could make things worse. I feel pretty confident about handling the therapist situation. Thank you to those who helped. But what do I do about my old boss? Do I contact HR at my old company? Hope it just dies down? I have no real proof, and I don't want to throw my former coworkers under the bus. What's the move here? Update 1 month later. New developments. Things are moving slowly because of all the bureaucratic stuff, but here's the most satisfying part. My old therapist is no longer practicing. While house hunting, I even saw his office space listed for sale on a real estate website. Here's the kicker. My therapist had apparently been chatting about me, a client, to his wife, who it turns out is my former boss. He didn't realize the connection at first, but when he shared enough identifying details, she pieced it together. What did she do next? She went through my paper records in his office, found out everything she could about me, and then thought it was a great idea to share it with some of my old coworkers, talking about my mental health and family issues. Thankfully, one coworker who was already leaving agreed to write a formal statement about what she heard, which was a huge help. No one else was willing to risk it because my old company's been laying people off left and right. Where things stand, the therapist was still in the wrong for sharing that level of detail and for insecure record keeping, but it turns out my old boss was the real problem here. She's still as awful as ever. As for him, it's unclear if he'll ever practice again, but I know some sort of disciplinary action is happening. On a brighter note, I found a new therapist who's been amazing, and she's reassured me that my old therapist and his wife were just a bad apple in an otherwise well-meaning profession. Also, hearing about the chaos at my old workplace from afar has been oddly satisfying. Thank you all for encouraging me to stand up for myself. This whole situation could have just stressed me out even more, but it's actually brought some closure.